Since creation, God has chosen a few to be representatives of His glory on earth. These few are not selected by status, wealth, or appearance, but for a reason that transcends human understanding. You have been called to be part of a divine plan that echoes through the heavens and eternity. No matter what you have faced so far, losses, rejections, or inner struggles, it was all part of a process to shape your strength and align your heart with the eternal purpose. You are not here by chance. Your presence is an essential piece in the grand puzzle of the heavenly plan. Perhaps you have experienced moments when the world around you seemed not to offer a place for you. The feeling of being different, of not fitting in, may have brought loneliness or questions. However, this displacement is not a mistake but evidence of your divine nature. Those who bear the mark of celestial royalty often walk solitary roads because their destiny is not tied to the ordinary but to the extraordinary. The journey of a chosen one is marked by challenges that test their essence but also by victories that reveal God's hand at every step. Imagine what it means to be part of God's royal lineage. It is not about crowns made of earthly gold but of immortal virtues, courage, compassion, unshakable love, and unwavering faith. This heritage is the mark God has placed upon you, a spiritual seal that sets you apart and protects you. Even amidst life's storms, you are not abandoned. The divine presence is with you, guiding you, strengthening you, and reminding you that your mission goes far beyond your momentary circumstances. The world may not recognize your value, but heaven knows your name. Now, pause and ask yourself, why has this inner flame never been extinguished, even in the face of adversity? It is because it was lit by God Himself. The chosen carry within them a strength that transcends their own limitations, a strength that comes from the Heavenly Father. This strength is what sets you apart, elevates you, and connects you directly to eternity. You have been called to impact, transform, and reflect God's glory in ways the world has yet to see. Are you ready to take your place and live as the heir you were created to be? You are more than you imagine yourself to be. Your existence is not just an ordinary journey, it is a divine summons, a call to live according to a spiritual lineage that spans the ages. When God chose you, He set you apart to carry a purpose that goes beyond what the eyes can see or the heart can comprehend. Just as ancient kings were anointed with sacred oil, you have been marked with an anointing that distinguishes you. It is no wonder the challenges you face seem greater than others. They are not meant to destroy you but to refine the strength and wisdom planted within you from the beginning. You are the reflection of divine majesty in a world desperately in need of true spiritual leaders. The chosen have always walked solitary paths, and your life is no exception. Perhaps you have noticed how the winds of adversity seem to blow stronger against you. The reason is clear: your light is a threat to the darkness that rules this world. When you enter a place, something changes, even without words. Your presence makes an impact. Those around you feel it, some are drawn to it, while others, uncomfortable, try to extinguish it. But this light is not something you can hide because it was lit by God Himself. It is the mark of the celestial lineage you carry, proof that you were destined to shine, even when the environment around you tries to suffocate it. Think of figures like Joseph, who was sold by his own brothers, or Esther, who faced unimaginable risks to save God's people. These stories are not just ancient accounts, they are reflections of the journey of chosen ones throughout the ages. As part of this lineage, you are in divine company with souls shaped by pain, rejection, and silence but who emerged with purpose and power. In the same way, the challenges you face now are preparing you for something much greater. Every tear you have shed is seen by God, and every struggle you have faced is being used to strengthen the foundation of your calling. Being an heir of divine royalty does not mean merely carrying a spiritual title, it means living a life of impact. The world around you may not understand the depth of your mission, but heaven recognizes it. The spiritual authority you possess transcends words. When you pray, things change. When you speak, truths are released. Even without realizing it, you carry the ability to transform environments and touch lives. This is part of the inheritance God has given you. However, this inheritance also brings responsibility to remain faithful to the purpose for which you were called. As an heir, you cannot live an ordinary life because your life reflects the kingdom you represent. Picture yourself as an essential piece of a plan designed before time began. Every step you take, every choice you make, aligns to fulfill this greater plan. Being part of God's royal lineage does not mean you will have all the answers immediately, but it does mean you will never be alone. The Creator is by your side, guiding you through every decision and sustaining you through every difficulty. There is a supernatural protection around you, something that keeps you steadfast even when everything around you seems to crumble. Have you ever stopped to reflect on this? On how, even in the most challenging moments, an invisible force sustains you? That is God reminding you of who you truly are. As part of God's royal lineage, your life carries a weight that few can comprehend. This weight, however, is not an ordinary burden, it is an invitation to operate in a higher spiritual dimension. Imagine a king who has been crowned but has not yet received the keys to his kingdom. That is how many chosen ones feel before fully understanding their position. You may be facing challenges that seem to contradict your identity, but this is part of the refinement process. Just as gold is purified by fire, you are being prepared to carry the responsibilities of the kingdom. Every pain, every moment of doubt, is shaping you to walk in the fullness of your calling. The world often tries to distract you from your true identity. The pressures of society, the expectations of those around you, and even the limitations you place on yourself can obscure the vision of what it means to be chosen. However, the signs of your divine lineage are always present. That is why, even amid doubt and confusion, there are moments when you feel undeniable clarity, as if heaven is speaking directly to you. This feeling is not imaginary. It is the Spirit of God confirming that you are not alone. You are chosen to reign, not from a position of earthly superiority, but as a servant of the Most High, bringing light and transformation to those around you. There is a strength within you that sets you apart from everyone else. However, this strength often manifests through adversity. When David was anointed king, he did not immediately ascend to the throne. He faced giants, was pursued, and lived as a fugitive before finally occupying the place God had reserved for him. Your journey is no different. The obstacles you encounter are not signs of abandonment but opportunities for God to demonstrate His power in your life. Every battle you win, every step you take, brings you closer to the complete manifestation of who you were created to be. The chosen are trained on the spiritual battlefield before being elevated to their place of authority. As part of God's royal lineage, you carry His authority in everything you do. This does not mean you are exempt from failures or weaknesses, but it means your life is sustained by a greater power. Even when you feel unworthy of the calling, remember that God does not choose the qualified, He qualifies those He chooses. Your lineage is not about perfection but perseverance. You are called to lead, to bring hope, and to be a living example of God's grace. And even though the journey is hard, it is filled with purposes that surpass what you can imagine. Your presence in this world is a constant reminder that God's kingdom is in motion. Have you ever wondered why some people's presence shifts the atmosphere wherever they go? This is true for the chosen. Wherever you go, the power of God within you manifests His glory. Whether you are in a workplace, a casual conversation, or even moments of silence, your energy is unmistakable, and those around you sense it, even if they cannot explain it. This power does not come from you but from the one who chose you. You are a vessel, a reflection of the divine light that transforms and impacts lives. And while this responsibility may feel heavy at times, it is also one of the greatest honors you could ever receive. God's royal lineage is not measured by what can be seen but by what is manifested through you. Society often looks for outward signs of greatness, status, wealth, recognition, but the chosen operate in a completely different realm. Your true authority does not lie in grand displays but in the spiritual impact you generate. You carry within you the ability to shift atmospheres, to plant seeds of hope in barren lands, and to bring comfort where pain prevails. This ability is not acquired through human effort but through the power of God flowing through your life. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, and every silent prayer becomes an instrument for accomplishing God's will in this world. Remember, the journey of a chosen one was never promised to be easy, but it was always guaranteed to be meaningful. The challenges you face along the way are not meant to destroy you but to strengthen you and demonstrate God's faithfulness in your life. Think of Daniel, who was thrown into the lion's den, or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who faced the fiery furnace. They not only survived but their testimonies transformed entire kingdoms. You, too, are called to live a life that reflects that same glory, not because you are free from problems, but because your faith and connection to God remain unshakable. Every obstacle you face is another opportunity for God to show that, through you, He performs miracles. To be chosen means having the courage to walk paths others avoid. The road you travel is not only for your own edification but to open doors for those who will come after you. Think of Abraham, who left his homeland without knowing where he was going, guided only by God's promise. Similarly, your journey, even when uncertain or difficult, is paving the way for others to experience God's presence and provision. You are a forerunner, someone who sets new standards, not by your own strength, but because God has chosen you to lead. Every step you take in faith is an act of obedience that impacts not only the present but generations to come. Many times, the chosen face periods of isolation that can feel endless. This isolation, however, is not a punishment but a time of preparation. Just as Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before being called to deliver Israel, and as Jesus fasted for 40 days before beginning his ministry, you too are being shaped in the silence. These moments of solitude are crucial because it is there that God works in the deepest parts of your heart, removing what is unnecessary and strengthening what must remain. Do not be discouraged during these times. Instead, embrace them as part of God's plan to transform you into a clearer reflection of the kingdom to which you belong. Preparation for fulfilling your calling as an heir of the divine lineage is not done only through grand gestures but in the details of daily life. It is in your prayers, your faithfulness in small things, and the way you treat others that God is building something eternal. The chosen are not defined by their circumstances but by how they respond to them. Every challenge faced with faith and every act of obedience accumulates a weight of glory that will echo forever. You may not see the results now, but know that everything you do as part of this royal lineage is contributing to a purpose that transcends time. God is using you to manifest His glory in a world that yearns for redemption. If you have always felt different, with a special sensitivity or drawn to greater missions, our ebook is a valuable resource for you. It offers practical insights to help you recognize your true mission as a chosen one and overcome the challenges of misunderstanding and isolation. By acquiring the ebook, you also gain exclusive and immediate access to our Discord community, a space where you can share your experiences, connect with others who understand what you are going through, and find genuine support in a welcoming environment. Check the first pinned comment on this video and receive unique and exclusive benefits. Being part of God's royal lineage means that your life is not ruled by chance but by intentional purpose. Every event, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is carefully woven by God to form a greater picture. The chosen are called to live with the awareness that nothing is in vain. That unexpected encounter, the door that closed, or even moments of pain all play a role in building something far greater. You are a fundamental piece in the divine plan, and even when you cannot see the whole picture, you can trust that God is guiding every detail. He promised that all things work together for the good of those who love Him, and as part of His lineage, this promise is an immutable truth in your life. The divine lineage you carry in your spirit is not merely a title, it is a source of strength that empowers you to face life's adversities with boldness and confidence. While others may be consumed by fear or uncertainty, the chosen have the ability to see beyond the present moment because their faith is anchored in something eternal. When the winds of doubt and despair try to knock you down, you find stability in your identity. This strength does not come from you but from the one who called you. As the Apostle Paul declared, "When I am weak, then I am strong, so too are you empowered to overcome because God's power operates in your life." This is the legacy of those who belong to celestial royalty. The chosen are often misunderstood by the world around them. Perhaps you have faced doubtful looks or comments that sought to question your faith or purpose. This reaction is not new. Since biblical times, those who carry God's seal have been targets of misunderstanding. However, it is precisely this separation that confirms your identity. The world may not understand your journey, but God is always attentive. He sees your struggles, knows your pain, and walks beside you every step of the way. Even when others fail to recognize the value you carry, know that your life is aligned with the purposes of the kingdom. Heaven's approval will always be more valuable than earthly recognition. Carrying God's royal blood means that you have been equipped with unique gifts and abilities that set you apart. Perhaps you have wondered why you possess talents or sensitivities that others around you do not seem to share. The answer lies in your divine origin. These gifts are not just for your benefit but are meant to be used as tools to transform lives and glorify God. As part of the divine lineage, you are called to operate at a level of excellence that reflects the character of God Himself. Whether through words of wisdom, acts of compassion, or inspiring leadership, your life is a demonstration of God's power in action. Embrace your gifts with courage and humility, knowing they are an expression of divine glory. Perhaps the most challenging part of being chosen is the tension between living in this world and belonging to another. You are surrounded by influences that try to divert you from your mission, but the call within you is stronger. It is as if there is an internal compass always pointing toward the divine purpose God wrote into your story. This connection is what sustains your journey, even when the days seem dark. Every decision you make, every step you take toward God's will, reinforces your identity as an heir of the kingdom. You are not called to conform, but to be a light guiding others to the truth. Your life is a living proclamation that the kingdom of God is among us. One of the most fascinating aspects of the divine lineage you carry is the ability to see what others cannot. The chosen have a spiritual sensitivity that allows them to discern the invisible, comprehend the immaterial, and grasp truths beyond ordinary human perception. This does not come from intellect or logic but from the Spirit of God working within you. That is why, so often, you notice things others overlook: spiritual connections, patterns of meaning, or even unseen dangers. This gift of discernment is a powerful weapon that helps you navigate the world, protecting you from the enemy's traps and guiding you toward the fulfillment of your mission. You are not here to walk blindly. God equips you to see beyond the obvious. This heightened perception, however, can come at a price. The chosen often face the loneliness that accompanies their unique vision. When you see deeper and understand more broadly, not everyone can keep up with or share your perspective. This can make you feel isolated, as if you are carrying a burden few can understand. But remember, great spiritual and biblical leaders walked this road too. Elijah, for example, felt alone in his prophetic journey, but God reminded him that he was never abandoned. Similarly, your loneliness is temporary and purposeful. It is in this space that God strengthens your trust in Him and deepens your dependence on His guidance. As part of God's royal lineage, you are called to be an agent of transformation. Wherever you go, your presence should leave a positive and lasting mark. This does not mean you need grand platforms or crowds to make an impact. Sometimes, God's greatest work happens in simple interactions in everyday moments. A kind word, a silent prayer, or an act of compassion can have rippling effects you may never fully see. That is the beauty of being chosen. You operate on an invisible plane where the fruits of your actions are eternal, even if not immediately visible. Every act of obedience is a seed planted in the kingdom, and God promises that nothing you do in His name will be in vain. When you understand that you belong to the divine lineage, your perspective on life's challenges changes completely. You realize that the struggles you face are not random difficulties but opportunities to reveal God's glory. Just as Paul and Silas praised God in prison and witnessed a miracle that freed not only themselves but everyone around them, you too are called to worship even amid adversity. Your ability to persevere in tough times becomes a living testimony to God's power. No matter how dark the path may seem, you know you carry a light that cannot be extinguished. This confidence is what sustains you and sets you apart as chosen. Being part of God's lineage is, above all, a call to live with purpose. In a world where many lose themselves searching for identity, you have already been given a truth that defines who you are. This knowledge is an anchor amid life's storms, a constant reminder that your life has meaning and direction. As chosen, you do not live for yourself but to reflect the glory of the King who called you. Your existence is a message, a proclamation that God's kingdom is at work and that His promises are real. Every step you take is a declaration that you belong to something greater, something eternal and unchanging. The divine lineage you carry also grants you access to spiritual resources the world cannot offer. While many feel adrift, seeking guidance in temporary and inconsistent sources, the chosen have the assurance of a direct connection to the Creator. This means that even in moments of confusion or doubt, you have access to an inexhaustible source of wisdom, strength, and direction. Prayer is not just a religious practice, it is the channel through which you access the spiritual riches of heaven. Every time you kneel to pray, the kingdom moves on your behalf. You are not limited by the circumstances you see, you are connected to the God who controls all things. However, with this privileged access comes responsibility. As an heir of the kingdom, you are called to live in a way worthy of your position. This does not mean perfection, but authenticity and commitment to the divine purpose in your life. Being chosen is not about displaying power or superiority, but about living as a reflection of God's love, compassion, and grace. Your life must be a living message, proof that the heavenly kingdom is real and active. Every choice you make, every word you speak, should point to the King you represent. This responsibility is both a challenge and a privilege because through your faithfulness, others can see the glory of God. One of the greatest privileges of being part of God's lineage is knowing that you are never alone. In a world where so many feel abandoned or disconnected, you have the certainty that the God of the universe walks beside you. He not only chose you, He also promised to be with you at all times. This promise allows you to face the darkest days with courage and faith. When it feels like the whole world is against you, remember that the Creator is for you. And if God is for you, who can be against you? This truth is not just a comfort, it is a spiritual weapon that sustains you through the toughest battles. The spiritual battles you face are an inevitable part of your walk as a chosen one. The enemy knows the value you carry and will try in every way to distract, discourage, or divert you from your purpose. But as part of the divine lineage, you do not face these struggles alone. You have been equipped with powerful spiritual weapons: prayer, God's Word, and faith. These tools are not just for defense, they are for advancing against the darkness and claiming the promises God has already declared over your life. Every battle you win not only strengthens you but also demonstrates to the world the power of the one who called you. Remember, you do not fight to achieve victory, you fight from the victory already secured by Christ. Your divine lineage also means that your life has an impact that extends beyond yourself. Each chosen one is called to leave a legacy, something that will continue to echo even after their journey on earth has ended. This legacy is not measured by material possessions or temporary achievements but by the spiritual and emotional impact you have on those around you. The seeds you plant today, of love, faith, encouragement, and hope, will grow and bear fruit for future generations. Your impact is not limited to the here and now, it transcends time because what you do in God's name has eternal consequences. As part of God's royal lineage, you are not living for yourself alone. Your journey is intertwined with the redemption story God is writing for all humanity. Every step you take, every battle you win, and every act of obedience contributes to something greater than you. Your life is like a spark that ignites other flames, a light spreading in a world often cloaked in darkness. Do not underestimate the power of what God can do through you. Even the actions that seem small, when done in His name, can have repercussions you may never fully see. You are part of an eternal movement that transcends generations and transforms destinies. This connection to something so vast and eternal is what gives your life a sense of purpose the world cannot offer. While many seek meaning in fleeting accomplishments, you know you are walking toward a destiny that is not confined to this earth. The divine lineage you carry is a constant reminder that something greater awaits you, something that human eyes cannot see but your spirit recognizes. This hope is what sustains you in the most difficult moments. It helps you stay focused when everything around you seems uncertain. Because you know that, in the end, your inheritance is not of this world but of the heavenly kingdom that will never be shaken. However, living as part of God's lineage requires courage. It is not an easy walk. Being chosen often means swimming against the current of a culture that values the superficial and rejects the spiritual. You will be challenged to hold on to your faith in an environment that frequently tries to undermine it. But it is precisely in these moments that your identity as an heir of the kingdom shines most brightly. Your courage to stand firm in the truth and your determination to follow God's calling are a living testimony to those watching. Even when you face opposition, remember that the same God who chose you is with you, sustaining and strengthening you for every challenge. Moreover, the divine lineage you carry is not merely a spiritual title, it comes with authority. As part of God's royalty, you have the power to declare truths that transform realities. Your voice carries weight in the spiritual realm, not because of who you are, but because of the one who called you. When you pray, you move mountains. When you speak, heaven responds. This authority, however, is not to be used selfishly but as a means to bring God's kingdom to earth. You have been equipped to be an agent of change, someone who transforms environments and inspires others to connect with the Creator. Your authority is a gift, and with it comes the responsibility to use it to glorify God. As you progress in your journey as part of God's royal lineage, remember that every day is an opportunity to grow in your identity. Your walk is not about reaching a final destination but about becoming, step by step, more aligned with the purpose for which you were created. Every prayer you make, every battle you face, every act of love you offer, all of it is shaping you to reflect God's image more clearly. And as you grow, those around you are impacted as well. Your life is a living letter from the kingdom, a testimony that God not only chooses but also equips those He calls. Being part of God's royal lineage is a calling that transcends this life. It is a constant reminder that you are not here to follow the patterns of this world but to live with an eternal purpose. Your journey is, above all, preparation for something far greater. The glory you carry is not just to illuminate the present but to point to the kingdom that is to come. Every day you live as a chosen one, you align more closely with the will of the King of Kings, bringing heaven to earth. That is the true meaning of carrying royal blood, to live as an ambassador of a kingdom that cannot be destroyed. With every step, you are leaving marks that will last forever. It's important to remember that as a chosen one, you do not walk alone. Even though your journey may seem isolated in moments of silence and trial, God has provided a heavenly army to accompany you. Moreover, He unites the chosen across the world in an invisible network, where each one, in their uniqueness, contributes to fulfilling a greater purpose. You are part of an eternal family, connected by the same mission and the same divine love. This spiritual community is not defined by physical or cultural barriers but by the unbreakable bond of sharing the same divine origin. Knowing this renews your strength and reminds you that, together, you are a transformative force in this world. In the end, being part of God's royal lineage is a call to fully embrace who you were created to be. It is not just about believing but about living this truth in every aspect of your life. It is recognizing that your struggles have purpose, that your journey has meaning, and that your impact transcends this existence. You are chosen to bring God's light to this world, to live boldly, and to transform the lives around you. Never doubt the value you carry or the grand plan that is unfolding through you. You are part of something eternal, and the King who called you will be with you until the end of time, guiding your every step. If you enjoyed this content, leave your like below and subscribe now. And don't forget to activate the notification bell to stay informed about new videos. You can also purchase our ebook and join our exclusive Discord community, a group where you can connect with others who share the same gift as you. If you wish to support us and help improve our work even further, continue through Buy Me a Coffee. The link is pinned in the first comment. You are part of something so grand that even the heavens celebrate your existence. The divine lineage you carry is a direct reflection of God's love and purpose. No barrier can stop you, no darkness can extinguish you. You were called to live as an heir of the kingdom, to bring light where there is darkness, hope where there is despair, and transformation where there is stagnation. And even when the path seems difficult, remember, you are not alone. The King who chose you is faithful and walks by your side.